Next item on the agenda is, fourth item is, consider approval of resolution supporting the submittal of an economic development fund application to the Kentucky Economic Development Cabinet by Marion County Industrial Foundation for access into the crossroads business property located in Marion County, Kentucky. Anybody got any questions on that? Mr. Pat Ford with Economic Development is here to answer any questions.
What's this for an entrance or what's it? What am I reading?
Yes, sir. So the foundation applied for a grant for $198,000 last year to give us access into what we call the Crossroads Industrial Park off of Loretta Road, right there near the Baker's Mark building. You can see a rough road cut in there. And so what we applied for was a cash match for that. So it's about a $400,000 road, and the state's given us half of that as a grant. But that money cannot come directly to us. It's got to go through the fiscal court. So when we're out there, finding a contractor to put that project together, they need a responsible party. And we like the fiscal court, you all are good partners. So the money would actually go to you to be dispensed to the people for the road. So what we need as part of the grant is to get a resolution basically saying, number one, you support the project, and number two, you'd be happy to administer that money on our behalf.
Motion to accept the resolution, approve the resolution.
Second.
You need it by tomorrow morning, if I understand it, right?
Yes, sir. and I also want to give a shout out to your staff, because when we got this phone call Monday, and they said they needed it by the end of the week, we called down and you all said that you needed it, paperwork by the end of the day. I can't thank your staff enough, and again, forgive me, I'm getting to know the names of everybody, but you all were on their A game, your staff was on their A game, getting us everything that we need, told us what we need to get you, and we had everything signed and put together for you by the end of the day Monday. So if you could thank your staff for that work, we really appreciate that.
We'll pass it along. Thank you, Pat.
Mr. Well, yes. Mr. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel? Yes. Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
You want to take that with you now? Or?
You're a good
judge.
I like that.
I know you got it.
Is that all right?
I was gonna make a copy of it and give you the original, but this rest of the folder, I do that.
Y'all think it won't be recorded?
You're not gonna take that tomorrow, right?
No, I'm just gonna scan it and
Send
send
me
it.
here, well, I'll just get to you first thing in the morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is consider approval of Terra Graphics LLC contract to provide GIS and GPS information for addressing, the amount of $250 for the first initial month of the contract, then $50 monthly after, and there's a $20 off-site rate and a $40 on-site rate. What Trey was talking about is the layer of the addressing that Sharon and Keith are using now to address our current addresses. Sharon, you want to tell us kind of more about what that?
Rusty Anderson, Terra Graphics is the same company that works with the water company on their software. So we're a year into the mapping with ArcGIS that we switched to a year ago. What he's going to do to help me is when I'm out in the field, like just a simple example is like if we're at an address point and assigning a point and I've got to punch in 223 North Spalding Avenue, what I have now, I have to punch it in 5 times. So there's a form that he can do the technology part of it that I can't. I do the data entry on the program, but Rusty could actually kind of spiff up the programs I'm working with and give me more information and give me more information at my fingertips that I can, do like a monthly report with you guys. But it will be kind of on the same page as PBA and the water company. And so his fees, I've met with him once to kind of discuss what he was talking about. And the fees, he suggests $50 a month. He would be like a maintenance guy, or my troubleshooter, my ombudsman. Whenever I have a problem, then I can call him and he fixes it. He can do it, via his home, or he said that the days he's at the water company, he would include our time in on the same days that he's there, so it won't cost us as much. But I do not foresee needing, you know, if we go over his $50 a month, then he's gonna charge $40 an hour, I think, or if he comes here, $20 if it's at his home. I think he lives in Frankfurt, but I don't foresee going over the $50. I think I can probably do a
And
lot.
keep it updated.
Everything will keep up to date. He would take care, there was, I think on that contract, I can't remember all the details, but he would keep us updated, he would keep my mapping updated.
Back up on
All the
that.
things that I'm not really, it would, you know, I could probably do it, but it would take me a month to figure out when he could probably do it in 5 minutes. He's the technology part of the software, I guess. Does that make sense?
So it'll help you a lot.
Helped me tremendously.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Bowles?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you as always. And if y'all ever have questions about the mapping, please feel free to let me know. And I've been doing it on my personal phone since we started it, but yesterday I did get an iPad. We talked about that the last time, just like a 6th generation, and so I'm in the process of getting it all put on the iPad. And down the road, with our E911 funding, hopefully we'll be able to get some of what Trey was talking about, get the iPads for the emergency responders where they have the same map. Everybody's looking at the same thing for emergency response. That's down the road though, when money builds back up in the CMRS fund.
Sharon, you get, Charlie Allen Road still comes up as McMillan Hill. Is that something we can look at on our addressing for EMS?
We have it, so for our mapping with the cab and dispatch, it's Charlie Allen Road. On Google, I made that change. Yeah, I went on, so I'm a Google contributor, because a lot of the addresses that we corrected, Google doesn't update. So what we have is as up to date as possible with the dispatch. So if you call 911 and the call goes to the dispatch at the police station, it's gonna have the new roads and the new addresses. But if you have FedEx delivering or if you're Google mapping or MapQuest mapping, a lot of times it has information that comes from, I guess, years ago when it must have been McMillan Road. So I go in, so if there's any issues like that, people contact us and I go into Google and I make the change or I add a missing road, I make the correction, and then they'll send me a response a couple of days later and say we're looking into it. Usually about 2 weeks later, they'll buzz back and say we accepted it or we did not accept it. So they accepted it. I don't know how long it takes for the database in the sky to get that, but I'll work on, I'll make another, usually when the issue comes up again, I'll submit it again on Google and then
Is there a way to show that it's a dead-end road as well? Because Google Maps will try to bring you in from Dry Fork, which is
Oh my
down,
gosh.
yeah. Deliveries will try to bring you in down Dry Fork Hill, around the creek and bring you up the pig path on the end.
That's a scenic route.
So, it's actually now a dead-end road. I don't know if there's a way to, and it probably may be a quicker route as the crow flies, but you can't, it's not passable, so.
Okay, yeah, I'll work on that again, and I'll carbon copy you my copies.
Thank you.
Okay? You're welcome.
Then Amazon, brown tractor trailer, he still mows the bypass. He's more than our post office there.
Item number 6 is to consider approval advertise for bids, body scanner at the detention center for budget 2021. Barry will comment on that a little bit.
I mean, we're just in that age. We talked about it last year and we priced them last year. We just need to put it back in a pricing zone and look at it. It's pushing itself to be a more viable, serious component of what we're going to have in the jail operations.
What was it at one time?
It has been as much as 200,000 for the outfit. They're a little over 150 right now.
Will it come down?
they've come down. And, then there's a lot. I know, well, you can get them even cheaper than that, but then you just lose you just lose quality and stuff on it. But, there's some, other things that, right now, only thing I need is to advertise so I can get the bids out, so that we can have something for our budget.
Motion to accept. Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Bowman? Mr. Quayle? Yes. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Item number 7 is to consider approval of pay for E911 equipment that was previously bid and accepted in the amount of $238,980.
Motion. Second. Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Quayle? Yes. Ms. Blackman?
Yes.
Mr. Bowman? Yes. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 8 is consider approval of Southern Communications, an additional $4,344 for antenna, cable, and connectors. This will be reimbursed through grant funds.
Is this what went out here the other week, was giving us trouble, or?
No, this was part of what we decided to replace all of those to make, just in case it could have been part of the problem. Back whenever we were doing the original part where we discussed doing that. But we did get a grant amount of, $55,000, Kevin, Shannon, it was $55,000.
55,000, so Melissa will submit that bill once that's paid, the Homeland Security grant.
And
So 55,000 will be reimbursed.
Motion. Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Bowman? Yes. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Mr. Quayle? Yes. Ms. Black?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Item number 9, consider approval to change admin code section 81, 82, 83, and 84 to state minimum from 20,000 to 30,000 for procurement purposes. That's in our admin code. What that's saying is that we can, anything under 30,000, we don't have to bid out. They changed it from 20 to 30. A lot of other counties have already done it. Madison County, they've probably done it a few weeks back or a month or two back, but we never had done it, didn't have a reason to do it. But now that if something's come up, so we decided we need to do that as well. So
Good luck for wages and
everything.
Motion.
States raised that. I wish it had been more, but anyway, it makes it hard on us.
Second. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Ms. Blackman?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Quayle? Yes. Mr. Bowman? Unanimous.
Item number 10, consider approval to advertise for bid a box culvert size 6 foot by 16 by 20 feet wide. Price includes material, equipment, and labor. The location is Bob Curtis Road. And what that is the remaining balance of we hope around our remaining balance for 80/20. We just got reimbursed for a bridge, those tiles you would put in out on Landers Creek and a couple of those in these forks. So this is kind of what we got left. We need to get it submitted before time runs out. So
Motion to bid box culvert.
Second. Mr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Bowman? Yes. Mr. Quayle? Yes. Ms. Blackman?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Item number 11, to consider approval of agreement to the fire department for a loan of $79,000 for the purchase of a pumper truck, 50-foot aerial boom. Terms are $7,900 for each draw. What it's looking like for 5 years. So it'll be two payments a year for 5 years.
Motion to approve.
Second. Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Quayle? Yes. Mr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Ms. Black?
Yes.
Mr. Bowman? Yes. Unanimous. What's this 50-foot aerial gun? Was that
It's your, it's not, would not be a aerial ladder, but it'd be like a standpipe. It'd be an elevated string.
I'll say you can
Yes.
shoot water through it? Is that-
Yes. So probably, they got new warehouses in their district now.
Yeah. So you
Yeah, and then or any two-story large building right there, when you get a Gulf fire, it's elevated, get your string up high there.
doesn't have to have any kind of special bracing or something?
No, the truck will have, it'll have outriggers on it, just
theirs was it wrecked or had some damage to it, I think. This is Nelson County, buying it from Nelson County, or which one is it coming from?
City of Barstown, maybe.
Is it, I know it's coming from that area. Maybe Shelby County or.
Yeah.
I think it's getting it from one of the manufacturers of fire trucks that buy used and redo them.
Yeah. No, it's not, it's a used truck. It'll help regularly, they, like I say, they're getting some taller structures in that area, so they do need it, so it'll help a lot. Help a lot. Number 12 is consider approval of annual contribution to the Marion Youth League. That's an annual contribution, $2,500.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Mrs. Blackman?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel? Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Wood? Unanimous.
Item 14, consider approval of budget transfer in the amount of, to the detention center, $50,000 and to EMS, $30,000.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Wood? Yes. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel? Mrs. Blackman?
Yes.
13.
Okay. Item number 13, consider approval of second allocation of funding for rescue and volunteer fire departments. That's $11,000 each of those.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Mrs. Blackman?
Yes.
Vogel? Mr. Wood? Yes. Unanimous.
Item number 15 is department reports. Jimmy?
I got a 2010 garbage truck messed up on the sheriff's duty road in Georgetown. They're gonna give me an estimate probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll let y'all know, but I've got to fix it. Whenever they call me, we gotta get it fixed.
When we started last after Christmas, didn't want to.
Nah. This year something happened to the head and it's pumping down and grease to it. Like I said, I don't know what it is. It ain't good.
This remain back up?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Probably need Tuesday coming up too, don't you? I said you probably needed Tuesday coming up too.
I need it used. It ain't gonna happen. I need to order some tires. I need to order 10 tires, put back in stock. $3,125. $31.25.
Get them separately, or?
Y'all wanna do it separate or get them both together? Give me a difference.
Or you want to get them? Put it all together, just go ahead.
I need to order some tiles. I need to order 10 tiles, $2,600, plastic tiles.
They're working out pretty good.
Yeah. As long as you get some cover on them, they just as good as the metal. If you ask me, they don't rust.
It's all up there. That's good.
That's all I need to prove.
Motion to approve.
Second. Mr. Bishop? Yes. Mr. Webb? Yes. Mrs. Blackman?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Unanimous.
This week we had some storms, that's what we've been working on, cleaning up, had some more shafts, got all of them fixed unless y'all know of anything. And, still having an issue with the signs. I take 2 people 1 day a week, most time we do it on Friday to fix these signs back. That's it, unless y'all got some.
Any specific area of the signs?
It's there for it, you pick one spot 1 week, you can have Jimmy next week, it'll be up to the other end county.
That tree down my turn, Willis Tree, was that electric or phone?
Phone.
Any idea or?
Is it road signs or stop signs?
It's like,
Both.
Both?
Both.
it's like mailbox bashing, they take spells each year, and you have some mailbox busted, you have some signs, so juvenile stuff, I'm sure, but, we got that one individual last year that had all those signs, but nothing that Hanger had on that now.
Nobody like that again.
Well, now, nobody's telling it, but we'll be looking.
Anything else?
That's it, unless y'all got something.
Thank you.
Solid waste, Chief?
Hey. I do have a question. When we submit that application for bids for that box culvert, came in on golf course, Are we also gonna advertise for them to do the water quality permitting for it too?
It's in their agreement, they gonna do it.
I want to make sure it's in there
Yeah.
because that's, you know, it's a big savings to us when they do it.
Yeah, they gonna do it.
Okay, good. I've called the 3M Blasting Mat Company out of Lebanon Junction to pick up our tires at the county barn. We're getting a pretty good pile of tires from Jimmy and I talked about it this week. Inmates pick them up on the side of the road, and then we've got a firm out of Lebanon Junction, I think, that make the blasting mats out of it. And they pick them up and recycle them. Otherwise, we have to take them to a landfill, but it's getting really costly to get rid of the tires. But we use our $4,000 annual grant from Division of Waste Management to get rid of it, so it costs the court nothing. And usually I cut it off. I cut the plastic mat people off when we get close to the $4,000. Or I'll tell them, I say, I've got $1,100 worth of tires I need to get rid of before the end of June. So we always save them in the grant, but they're going to pick those up pretty quickly.
I was talking to the tire place, service station. I was thinking, he said they went up and it cost him $3 a tire to have them picked up.
Yep. It's not a cheap thing, it really isn't, but, you know, you'd be surprised how many we find on the side of the road. And this grant thing is really a good thing, to get roads clean. The inmates this past year, I'm going to give you all a recap of this because they just finished it today. About the inmate litter abatement, how many miles they did. I haven't figured the bags up, but did about 794 miles of road in Marion County, walked the roads and picked up the trash. And that's the reason Marion County is free of tires and free of litter, mostly on the roadsides. We've had 3 groups this year that did 10 miles of road. And you all funded another $5,000 this last year, so we can probably do as many as 8 groups, about 80 miles of road for volunteers. So I'm taking applications. I got 2 calls this morning. I told them to call me back the first of the year if you have a group that you want to do 10 miles of road. And I've gotten a couple of calls today, so when those slots are filled, you know, we cut them off. Unless you ladies and gentlemen decide to give us some more money. So we'll take it.
What we're doing there, a lot of groups come in to try to gain money, and basically we're letting them clean our county out.
We pay them $100 per
Earn that
mile.
donation.
It helps everybody.
Clean up both sides of the road.
So it's a good
And
program.
they'll get 60 to 80 bags of garbage each 10 mile stretch. Pretty good amount. That's all I have.
Chief, thank you.